All right, I wasn't planning on doing this, going live during the draft, but I'm not at the draft. I had a very, very rough morning. Um, don't want to get into all the details, but I might have had something to eat yesterday that didn't really sit well with me. So I've staying home here for day two of the NFL draft, and the 49ers just made their selection at number 43 overall. So thank you for joining me on this YouTube live. This is brought to you by Canyon Club Brewery. You see the let's see, where is it? You see the right there, the hat in the background. Canyon Club Brewery, located in Moraga. Also, a new location just opened up in Danville, the Danville Livery. So check that out. I was planning on going tomorrow after the conclusion of the NFL draft, but we shall see. Not feeling real great. So if you kind of sense that my energy level isn't super high, that's why. I'm still going to try to do a podcast after the action wraps up. Let me just kind of see and check in here and see what has been happening since the 49ers selected Alfred Williams, defensive tackle from Texas. They selected him with the number 43 overall pick. The person I had kind of slotted in there was Darius Alexander from Toledo, but same position, just a different player. And so what is the attractiveness of Alfred Collins? Well, first off, he's huge. He is 6'5" and 5'8", 332 pounds. His hands are 10 inches, arm length 34 and 5/8, wingspan 85 inches. And he had a really good last season for the University of Texas. Blocked a field goal, what was a force in the running game in particular, 55 tackles, 5.5 tackles for loss, only one sack. So I see him as being a two-down player for the 49ers. And that's fine. They need someone to help shore up their run game. I know that was a point of emphasis. I know for the fan base, when are the 49ers going to do something about their run defense? Well, they did it, bringing in Alfred Collins. So, that was the one position I think that anybody could see was the most glaring weakness on the 49ers after the start of free agency. When you think back to last season, their starters in week one were Malik Collins and Javon Hargrave. Javon Hargrave ends up sustaining the torn triceps. He's out for the year. And then after the season's over, they release him and Malik Collins in cost-cutting moves. And then they replace those two guys, with Alfred Collins from Texas. And so after getting Malik Williams on, what am I talking about? After getting Mykel Williams on Thursday night, we knew that the draft was going to be defensive line heavy. That's where the 49ers were going to put a lot of their focus, and they did that with Mykel Williams, the edge rusher, but also a guy who's long, can play the wide nine. He can move inside and rush the passer in nickel situations. And now Alfred Collins. So when you look at the defensive tackles that the 49ers have, going into this, they were pretty thin at that spot. Jordan Elliott would have been, I guess, a starter. Kevin Givens, I guess, would have been considered a starter. Clea Davis, Evan Anderson, the reserves there. But so they might not be done yet either. They might add another defensive tackle. They might add another defensive end. So that's where the 49ers are. What is their next pick now coming up? They have two picks in round 3 of this draft. So let me just get where their picks are. Let's see here. Okay, here we go. So yeah, the 49ers have, that's not it. Why can't I? I'm a little bit slow on the uptake today, folks. Like I said, not doing super well. Okay, here we go. So 49ers have the pick at 43, which they use for Alfred Collins, and then their next pick will be in 32 picks. Let me just see what's been out there. That could be cornerback, that could be wide receiver, that could be offensive line with those next two picks. So 75 and 100. So in the third round, they have the 11th overall pick in the third round, and then the 36th overall pick in the third round. Okay, so let me just look here. Let's just kind of hope you, man, I'm feeling rough, but you should have seen me. Should have seen me earlier in the day. So this is a dramatic improvement over where I was in the early mornings. Okay, so yeah, the D line got beefy. Need more beef. Run stopper. I hear Collins comps Javon Kinlaw, which makes a lot of 49er fans nervous. Well, the difference was Javon Kinlaw was chosen high in the draft, and he had injury concerns. I don't think that Alfred Collins, as far as I could tell, doesn't have any injury concerns. Seems to me like a lot of people like this pick. A lot of people like the pick of Alfred Collins going in the trenches. You can't just look and see sacks, look at pressures. Yeah, no question about it. Hope they take a kicker late. Yeah, I don't think they're going to do that. Well, who knows? They might do that. I can't believe you're saying that, though. Let's see here. Okay, a lot of people kind of chiming in. Yeah, it seems like pretty solid reviews on the 49ers selection, addressing the defensive line with their first two picks in this draft, Michael Williams and Alfred Collins. Let me just kind of pull up some of the stuff about Collins. Let's kind of give you some scouting reports. Let's see, so before Collins, so 2 picks before Collins, the Buffalo Bills traded up to get TJ Sanders, defensive tackle from South Carolina. So I wonder if Buffalo thought that that's the player the 49ers were looking to get. When I looked at, who was there, kind of the bigger name guys, Darius Alexander, Ariante Ursary, who still hasn't been taken, right? The offensive tackle from Minnesota. And then Will Johnson. Will Johnson just flew off the board. I think there's some injury concerns there, the cornerback from Michigan. So the third round or the second round continues to go here. We're pick number 48 right now. And of course, there are 64 picks in the second round of this draft. And then the 49ers will be choosing 11th in the third round. A lot of people push, asking me to push through. Oh my gosh, yeah. Tomorrow will be a better day. This is the 49ers. They're getting a big guy, and so why would they go with, say, Collins over Alexander? I think probably the size factor. When you look at it, Collins, as I mentioned, is 332 pounds. Darius Alexander is only 305 pounds. So it certainly looked like the 49ers wanted to get more beef there in the middle and do a better job of clogging the run and being able to, try to keep teams in third and long situations where they can unleash their pass rush. So, those are, I'm sure, what the 49ers were thinking about this. So, where does that leave them here? 2 picks in, 9 more picks to go. We can just look at the entire depth chart or their entire roster. I think they can take a running back at some point, maybe tomorrow. They can take a wide receiver. Wouldn't it surprise me if they took a wide receiver today? One name I floated out there is Savion Williams. Offensive lineman. Well, they could certainly take an offensive lineman today. Could they take another defensive lineman? Sure. Tight end, perhaps. Linebacker, yes. Defensive back, yes. So, this is a team that lost so many people at the outset of free agency that there's really no position or very few positions anyway that aren't considered positions of need. So, let me just make sure that my story that I sent in went through. Why don't I see it? I thought I sent it in. I did the instant reaction on NBC Sports Bay Area.com, but I don't see it. Why didn't it go through? So let me send it in again. All right. Okay, what other questions do we have here? I'm going to keep this one kind of short because just not feeling it right now, but I'll try to check in after the other two picks are made. Let's see here. And then, is there a reason my emails aren't going through? Gosh. Let's see what we got here. Sorry for this very entertaining, I'm sure, episode of me trying to send in my story, which I tried to send it in 10 minutes ago. All right. I'm not feeling great, but I just wanted to check in, let you know that I'm still alive, and I'll probably be checking in later. I got to save my voice and save my energy for the podcast later tonight. So thank you all for tuning into this. I'll try to check in later. I'm sorry I'm not bringing a whole lot of energy here today, but it sure sounds like the overwhelming belief is that that was a good pick of Alfred Collins, a player that definitely fits a need. 49ers wanted to shore up their run defense, and they got a big body in there, almost 6'6" and 330 pounds. So, no, I don't have a virus. I might have eaten something that didn't sit well with me, if you know what I mean. So, this morning was a very rough morning, and today, I'm slowly making progress. So, anyway, thanks so much for watching, and we'll be back. Not a stomach bug. It was just I think it was something I ate. So, anyway. Thanks to everybody for the kind words and everything else in the advice. And yes, I'm going to be hydrating right now. And that is it for now. I'll be back a little bit later in the evening. Thank you.